Welcome to Engine Adventures. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well today. The wind is a little bit, it's not too bad, but anyway. Today we've got this 2020 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. And basically this vehicle's been the same since, what, like 2005 until this year. So for 2020, they have added or changed from a 4-liter V6 to a 3.8-liter V6. It has the same amount of torque, but horsepower is up like 30 or something like that. I'll put the actual numbers up on the screen. So it is a little bit more powerful, and it also gets a 9-speed automatic transmission. So it's been pretty good. So that supposedly that transmission and engine combination get better fuel efficiency than the old 4-cylinder engine and more power than the old V6. So it's a combination that should be a win-win for everyone. And I believe they're dropping the 4-cylinder, so all you get is this single engine now. Maybe not a bad thing. Let's do a quick run through of the exterior. So I do like that this is pretty much standard with these rails, and it has the ones in the bottom. You can obviously buy more of these to put in the front, or just take these ones off and put them in the front. If you got a motorcycle or something like that you want to tie down from the front. Also, you've got those rails. I don't know the tow rating on this, and there's no receiver here on this particular one. The tailgate is pretty heavy and not damped at all. Pro 4X, you still get this roof rack, and the rest of it is just pretty basic. The seats do lift up. This one has the sound system, so there's a subwoofer there, and they fold forward, and there's only a little bit of storage back there, but there's the jack stuff, and then your anchors for your car seats, which there's not a lot of room in here. So with the car seats in, they're basically touching my seat. I had to put the bigger one forward facing in the middle so she had some leg room, but apparently that get buckled back. Anyway, it's pretty basic back here. There's no vents or anything. Cup holders are right there, and that's basically all you've got in the back row. It does have power windows, power locks, and new also, I believe, is this remote start. Really weird why they put it there. Why not just leave it there where the key was? I don't know. Dual glove boxes. Everything's industrial, maybe word for it. You got a sunroof, sunglass holder that fits my Tifosi jets. That's one of the few. There aren't very many that do that. And yeah, that's about it. This thing's really quite basic. It does have satellite radio, and you do get navigation, camera there, and that screen's pretty small, but the resolution is okay for a screen that size. We'll show you the Tacoma next week. By the time you guys see the video, it'll probably be a few weeks out, but anyway. And the steering wheel controls for the radio on this side, and your phone does have the Bluetooth for your phone. Cruise control, just your normal washer, windshield washer stuff, windshield wipers. It does have fog lights, but they only come on. It doesn't even have indicators on there. Anyway, the fog lights only come on with the headlights. Let's take a look at that engine. Oh, sorry, the Pro 4X, you do have, you know, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, all that stuff, but you also get this rear differential lock, which only comes on, you can see it flashing. I'm in 4-wheel drive high right now. Only comes on in 4-wheel drive low, which isn't the best. A lot of vehicles now you can do that in 2-wheel drive, which is cool. The rear parking sensors, traction control, which it does actually turn it all the way off. It's kind of cool. And then heated seats for the front. These cup holders, and to adjust the size, you pull that out. And let's go over this real quick. So I don't actually have a window sticker for this thing, but there you go. 3.8-liter direct injection, 24-valve V6 with 310 horsepower and 281 foot-pounds of torque with a 9-speed automatic transmission. You do get decent tires, so the 16-inch off-road design wheels with hand-cooked tires, I believe. We'll take a look at those real quick. It does have Bilstein shocks, and then a bunch of skid plates, so the oil pan, fuel tank, transfer case, and then some badging and stuff like that. So that's basically all the information they've given me on this vehicle. So I don't have a price or anything for you. If I find one online, I'll put that up. I'm not sure if they have that available yet. I believe they do, but and I'm not sure if you can still get a manual. I imagine you can, but don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. And there you go, the new V6. So let me drive up here a ways. We'll talk about the on-road driving characteristics and then the off-road. So this will probably be a one-take video and be pretty short. I didn't show this in the mirror, but you do get the temperature there, and the rear window does slide open. You just got to do it manually, which is no problem. No grab handles for the driver, which is fine. You're off-road, might as well have both hands on the steering wheel anyway. Basically, most of this stuff hasn't changed since 2005. A few little things here and there, the dual zone climate control. You just get a few different things that are a little bit better. But overall, it's really quite similar. So on-road driving this, it's not bad at all. You can see my fuel mileage there, maybe 19.4. That included quite a bit of idling and stuff, but on-road, it's a little bit bouncy. It does have a solid rear axle. The Ram Rebel was a little bit smoother for being a bigger truck with probably the same payload capacity. We might as well take a look at that right now. Because that Ram Rebel has a very low, yeah, so this has 1,000. I don't know if it's better to turn that for you. Anyway, 1,047 payload capacity. The Ram Rebel was right in that same range. I think it had 20 pounds more or something like that. Which, that one had all the features and the air suspension and Ram boxes and the trick tailgate, all that stuff. And just took all the payload capacity from it. On-road, this ride's a little bit worse than that. And off-road, it's a little better. I mean, the big bumps do hurt it a bit, but not nearly as bad as the Ram Rebel. So in that air suspension felt like it was kind of bottoming out a bit or clanging or something. I don't know what the deal was with it. Anyway, back to on-road with this, the 9-speed. So it's a little touchy on the low end. I need to get the gearing, so I'll get you guys the crawl ratio and maybe the gear ratio for transmission on the first gear, because it's a little bit jumpy in the first gear, which is fine. You just got to get used to it. And at cruising speeds, once you're in 9th gear, it was going about 75 this morning, and it was around like 1800, 1900 RPM, which is pretty good for this engine that redlines at close to 7,000. So you've got a lot of range there, and you're still like enough in the power range that it's not constantly downshifting. There were a few, maybe 1 or 2 times where it did downshift to keep the cruise control where it was set, but it didn't really need to do it that often. And even when it does downshift, it's not a big deal. This transmission shifts pretty smoothly. It's still kind of learning. I mean, this is a new truck, 4,000 miles on it, so it's still learning everything to optimize the shift points and that stuff. Yeah, that's probably about all for this. There are no additional power points besides these that I know of. I didn't find any in the back or anything. And as far as this glove box that we've been looking at, there's one right there. So the armrest, I didn't really mention that earlier, but the armrest is pretty small and it sits far back. So to get to it, you kind of have to lean over and push yourself to the side a little. Not a big deal. It's just not, you can't sit up straight and rest your arm on it. And I think that is enough, so we'll call it quits. Like I said, this thing is basic. It is 2005 still, and has a few little upgrades to make it a little bit nicer than the 2005 version, but it's basically the same platform. It's durable. In the past, it's been reliable, so I imagine this will probably be a pretty reliable vehicle as well. We'll see how that new 3.8 holds up. Anyway, thanks for watching Engine Adventures on-road and review of this 2020 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X.